Hey, yo, it's your girl Jada J. Now I know y'all are all like, wait, didn't you do another one? Well, you had on a different outfit? Yes, I did. Took it down. Took it down. In playbacks, I was like, yo, this is like, nah, because I usually follow this, and it was, like, it was scene-wise, because, I'll speak, but then I'll, like, just to be sure. And then I topped it, appreciate you, cousin, but I had another comment about the review, and I wasn't mad at it because like I had knew, but just to see it was like, nah, JD, you need to go ahead and do that again. So I'm rested up, and here I am. I'm sorry you had to see that travesty on camera. All right, but here I am, and I'm not mad at the person who left the comment. You got your own opinion, and then we want to do it again. So thank you. All right, so let's get into it. And I got this on because I'm about to be going to work. Okay, anyway. Okay, so, just wanted to do it now because I'm up and refreshed and all this. Okay. So, we open up with where we left us last week, and Jennifer is coming in. She's coming to see Catherine. Mind you, Hannah already let her in. Then, when they get in there, she's like, you know what, maybe you should tell me what this is about before I actually go to get her because she's not in the mood for this. And so she's like, I'm sorry, with all due respect, I have to talk to Mrs. Cryer. And she's like, well, I don't really think she wants to hear anything else. She's tired. And she goes, this is about Wyatt. Because then she asks her again, well, I need you to tell me something, So she goes, okay, it's about Wyatt. So she's like, Miss Allison, trust me, she doesn't want to hear anything about Wyatt. She's done. I mean, she's just over it. So then she's like, I'm sorry, but can you go get her? Because you've already let us in and this is really important. And so she's like, I need you to tell me something. She goes, that's all I can really tell you. I just need you to go get her. And she goes, trust me, she'll want to hear this. And she was like, no, I think you're wrong. But okay, she was like, could you just go get her, please? So then Hannah's like, okay, I warned you. And she's going, as she's about to go up the stairs, Jennifer goes, so what's that ambulance doing here? And she goes, oh, there was an accident. Oh, what happened? Oh, you need to ask the owner of this house. And that's because Hannah was kind of getting my nerve a little bit. Like, come on, Hannah, just go get her. But then it switched to Jennifer because I didn't like when Hannah was like, well, you need to check with the owner of this house. She goes, I will. And you didn't, by the way, because you already know Catherine ain't dealing with you like that. So she goes upstairs. But before that, she tells him, she's like, yo, she even kicked me out because, she's fed up and she wants to get some sleep or whatever. And she's, this is important, this is important. So she goes upstairs to go talk to Catherine. And so she's like, there's somebody down. No, so first when Catherine sees her, she's like, I thought you went home, Hannah. She goes, look, I'm not laughing. It's okay. I didn't go home. I was on my way to. She goes, but you're still here. I was like, okay. I was like, wait. Didn't you tell me to be here? You told me to be here for you, right? But when I'm here, you got an attitude. Okay, I would have let it slide. Like I said, she thought she loves both her kids. So even one is enough to go crazy. So she's like, well, there's somebody downstairs here to see you. Okay, well, who is it? You need to come see for yourself. What are you talking about? Who's here? She was like, well, she goes, I'm not in the mood for this. She was like, I told her that, but she won't leave. Her who? What are you talking about? You need to come downstairs. Hannah, I'm not in the mood for this. Like, who am I? Again, dang. I'm just, don't shoot the messenger. So she goes, the DA. She goes, the DA. In my house? She goes, yeah. So she dang near gets up and runs down the stairs. And she goes, what are you doing? She's like, you have the audacity to come to my house. Have you lost what little brain you had? Have you lost it? Like, you must have. So, but then, mind you, she's got a police escort. So, Catherine tries to get through the cop. And so, he's holding it, ma'am. And then she goes, sir, can I have your gun? I'm going to shoot this witch right between the eyes. He goes, ma'am. I just want to warn you that threatening an officer of the court is a federal offense. She goes, oh, I don't care. She killed my son. And if you don't give me your gun, sir, I'm going to get my own gun and I'm going to kill her. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'll take that upon myself. So Hannah is in the background now. She's saying, calm down. You need to calm down. She goes, listen, Miss Cryer, I know you don't want to see me, but you're going to want to hear what I have to say. She goes, no. I don't care what you have to say. You're responsible for the death of my son. She goes, no, trust me, you'll want to hear this. She goes, unless you're here to tell me that my son is back from the dead. We said, wait a minute, Miss Catherine, because you might be eating your words in a minute. But that didn't stop her because she was still pissed at what she told her. So she's like, unless you're here to tell me my son is back from the dead, you ain't got nothing to say to me. So Jennifer goes, well, he is. And then even Hannah was like, what? And she goes, he's not dead. And she goes, it seems, he isn't dead. And then Catherine is like, what are you saying, Jennifer? What are you saying? And she goes, well, when the officers first came in, our first officers that came to check out the scene, his breathing was so faint and pulse so, shallow, they didn't detect anything. They thought he was dead. So then Hannah's like, wait a minute, so he's alive? Is he okay? And she goes, he's in a medically induced coma, from all the drugs and everything, but they're saying, it looks like he's gonna make it. And she goes, he was unconscious for 32 hours. So that's why they thought he was dead. So again, pulse so faint, breathing so shallow, they just assumed he was dead. So then Catherine is like, what kind of idiots do you have working for you? What kind? Like, I know you have idiots, but what kind of idiots do you have working for you? What kind? I have to get all the details now. So then she's like, believe it or not, I don't know what she was trying to do here. She goes, believe it or not, this has happened before, just once or twice. Okay, she didn't say once or twice, but she said it's happened before. All right. I saw it. So she goes, yeah, it's happened before. So she goes, is that supposed to make me feel better? She goes, no, Mrs. Cryan, I know you're upset, but you just worry about the good news. Your son Wyatt is alive, and we have an escort ready to take you to the hospital now. She goes, oh, you can shove that escort? She goes, James Cole does it. She goes, you could shove that escort up your behind. She goes, what did you say to me? She goes, oh, I'm not going to see my son lying in that state. It's not going to happen. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to return him to me the way you found him. Alive, walking, talking, breathing, and angry as heck, but full of life. Before you pump $12 million worth of stuff up his nose and into his arm. Okay? That's how you're going to return him to me. All right? That's what you're going to do. She goes, and until then, Jennifer Salison, you are my enemy. Jennifer goes, I think you need to be very careful what you say to me in a room full of witnesses. She goes, get out of my house now, witch. Now! I said, wait a minute. Wait, she left. Jennifer left. And the cop. He looked like he wanted to say something, but wait a minute. If she did that to her, then look at me. I have to wear a uniform. I can't even just come to work, business casually dressed. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even really say nothing to her because I ain't even got that many degrees. Anyway, so sorry, y'all. It's morning time. I'm hyped up, and I'm usually not even a morning person. So then when they leave, Catherine literally collapses, falls to the floor, and she's like holding onto a table. So then Hannah runs over, and she goes, Catherine, you got to go see him. You got to go see him. This is good news. Do you want to go see him? And no, first she goes, are you sure you don't want to go see him? Because, she heard her say, you shove the escort up your behind. So she goes, no, I can't. What if he doesn't make it? I can't see him like that. And Hannah goes, Mrs. Cryan, this is your son. She goes, no, Hannah, remember you told me not to look at Amanda in that body bag, but I did. And now that's the last image I have her in my mind. What if Wyatt doesn't make it? What if that's the last image I have of him in my mind? Him attached to tubes and he never wakes up in the hospital. She goes, I can't see him like that. She goes, okay, Miss Cryer, calm down. Since you put it that way, I understand. So she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, what if I lose him? Like, how am I going to see him like that? I can't. So she goes, okay, well, would you mind if I went to go see him? So she starts crying. It's like once that bottom lip starts to, I can't do it because it has to come natural because I do that when I'm crying sometimes. I can't. Okay. So, but the bottom lip was quivering. And she goes, thank you. She was like, I was hoping you would say that. So then they're in an embrace. And she's like, thank you. So Hannah is going to the hospital to see Wyatt at this point. Okay. So then we switch to Erica. Okay. She is at the bar / restaurant. And did y'all think that was a Sarandon? Because the view they did of the outside, that was a Sarandon. But I was like, that don't look, when they went inside, I was like, that don't look like the Sarandon. So I was like, what is Tyler trying to do here? We find out the name later, so, alright. So she calls up Candace and says, because, she used her name for Jeffrey to get the keys. I figured it was her. She goes, so did everything work out good? She goes, oh, yeah. So she goes, hey, can you send me a pic of Oscar? The Candace don't even ask no questions. She goes, oh yeah, I think I have one from New York City. I'll just send it now. She goes, okay, thanks. Looks at the picture. You're not gonna believe this. She goes, what? She goes, I'm looking at him. She goes, wait a minute, what? Where are you? Where are you? She goes, I'm at Sean Quentin's here in Savannah. She goes, here? He's here? She goes, yeah. She's like, okay, could you hold him for me, please? Hold him. Just hold him. Don't let him leave. She goes, Candace, you know I have Grayson coming. She was like, come on, Erica, you know how important this is. Yeah, she goes, yeah, I know. He duped you out of millions, right? But if I rock Grayson right, this could be millions right here, too. She's like, Erica, please, please, just don't let him out of your sight. You know this is important. Just hold him there. Just hold him there. I'm on my way. So she goes, okay, girl, but you know how Grayson is. I'll do my best, all right? She goes, all right, don't let him out of your sight. She's like, I'll do my best. And they get off the phone. So, so in a state of improvisation, I guess, she goes up to him. I didn't really like it because I thought it was, I didn't think he was going to be like, oh, you're friends with Candace, because that's not believable. But I just thought it was weird, the question she was asking, because, you know, pickup lines, and if they try to ask you, you know, just dumps like, do you come here often? Just like that cliche, but she was trying to be like all in his business. Oh, are you from here? Oh, do you come here, you know, a lot? You're not from, she goes, you're not from here, are you, even at one point? And are you in town long? Like, just, I don't know. He didn't catch on. He just really thought she was flirting with him like he's that good looking. Okay, but anyway. So, yeah, she goes up to him. And at first it's like, hi. And then he goes, hi. And I didn't like his attitude either. Okay, look. So, she goes, oh, can I get a Cosmo, please? You know, talking to the bartender. And then that's when she goes, you know, you're not from here, are you? He goes, no, I'm not. She goes, are you in town long? He's like, no, I'm in and out. And so she was like, okay, would you like to go out sometime? And he's like, excuse me? She goes, you and I, would you like to go out sometime? And he goes, no, I don't think so. And she goes, why? Like, you know, look at me kind of thing. And he goes, do you not see the woman I'm sitting with? I didn't like his attitude on that either, trying to act like she was so much better looking than Erica. You know, just, I don't know. And then the girl even gave her a look at one point, like, girl, what? I'd have been like, and? No. I was wondering that too. I was like, he is talking to a girl, isn't he? And she goes, oh, you're on a date. She goes, I'm sorry. You know, I'm really sorry and this, that. And he's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. Just, if you'll excuse us, please. And then she slipped something into his pocket, y'all, didn't she? I swear she's a number or something. I don't know. So then she grabs her Cosmo and goes back to the table. And then, does she call him back? Okay, no, she goes to sit back down. So Candace is driving to the hotel. But I guess she kind of figured, because she showed up at Jeffrey's house pretty quick. Did y'all think so too? I was like, I thought she was going in a whole nother direction. So then she calls back Candace calls her. And because when she goes to sit down, we see Grayson come to the old white dude, no disrespect. He comes to sit down. And so then Candace calls later on, not that much later, how they timed it. And, you know, hey, oh yeah, she goes, I wasn't able to return your bathing suit. And, you know, all this. So then Candace is on the other side. She goes, is he leaving? She goes, yeah. She goes, okay, great. So then she's like, wait a minute, I might be able to check the car. And then she goes, do you mind if she what did she say? And so she goes, do you mind if she checks the car? Mind if she checks the car, honey? And he's like, so she's like, oh yeah. But Candace on the other line, girl, what are you talking about? Because I wasn't even understanding what was happening. Okay, so then she goes out, so she's like, okay, honey. And by the way, she says hi, and just, you know, just context. So then she goes outside. You know, she sees Oscar again, so she taps. She's got Candace on the line the whole time. So she sees Oscar again, and she taps him. She goes, I'm sorry. He goes, I guess I wasn't the only one with a date tonight, too. Like, trying to say, I saw you with your date, and you still trying to talk to me. So then she goes, a girl can try. And he smiles and goes back to talking to his date. So then she's walking over. She's come talking to the valet. And we find out later she called it a bat phone. So she hands him, and she said it there, too. It was a cell phone. She hands him something. And she goes, did you see the man behind me in the black suit? He goes, and she goes, don't be so obvious. She goes, I need you to put that under his seat. And when I leave here, he can't know it's under there. So he's like, yes, ma'am, I could do that. And then he goes, what is it? She goes, it's a cell phone, honey. Just do it. And then so she starts looking at her breasts. And she goes, my eyes are up here. And so some cash. And he goes, I got you. I got you. And then so then Candace is on the line like, what's happening? Like, what is this? And she goes, I have to call you later. She goes, I think I got a plan, but I have to call you later because Grayson is, he's in there waiting. And she goes, ugh, so disgusting. Like, trying to say, ugh, like, he nasty looking, but I'm trying to get this money. So then Candace is like, dang it, because she's thinking, you lost him pretty, like, what do you... So she's like, don't worry, I've got it under control. She goes, okay, so they hang up. Then Candace pulls up to the house. This is what I'm saying. Like, wasn't you on your way to Sean Quentin's? So then Candace pulls up to the house, and, we know the cop and Jeffrey are already there. So Justin and Jeffrey are in the backyard. She dang near runs to the backyard. Oh, hey, Jeffrey, what are you doing here? She go... So he's trying to do the pleasantries and all this. So she's kind of just like, okay, what are you doing here, Jeffrey? So he goes, this is, hi, Justin. She goes, yep, Justin, the police officer? What's going on? What are you doing here? And so he goes, I wanted to show him something. She goes, okay, but what are you doing outside? Why aren't you in the house? He goes, so Justin is thinking, I don't know, it didn't add up for me. But he goes, the radio works better out here. The house is made of concentrate. It's a nice build, but the radio works better outside. So then Candace is like, Jeffrey, like, what are you doing here? What's up? He goes, I know my mother's going to come looking for me, so I figured she'll send the police here. She goes, well, why didn't you stay at the hotel where she couldn't find you? And he goes, nah, it's time to face this. Like, it's time. I can't live like this no more. Because then at one point she even tells the officer, she goes, oh, you can leave. Because he goes, I told him what I did. And he goes, no, I can't. And she goes, why not? And he's like, because I already told him. So now he's checking possible warrants and everything like that. So, and then Jeffrey at one point, I don't know, he gets kind of scared or something because he goes, can you just, like, call this in? Like, I don't know what we're waiting for. And then she goes, Jeffrey, can I talk to you? And he's like, yeah. She goes, no, not out here. I need to talk to you. So then they go in. And then I want to say outside when she's talking to him, she goes, what exactly did you tell him that you did? He goes, I told him that I stabbed my mother. And then so you could tell the weight was lifted off her. So they get in the house and she's like, did you tell him, what happened? And he's like, no, I didn't tell him. And so she goes, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing here then? What's happening? And he goes, are you kidding me? What do you mean? What is he doing here? I didn't have anybody else to call. I didn't like this. It made Jeffrey sound kind of pathetic and just... Because it's different. Cause of course, you want to be comforted, like in a situation where you're in turmoil, but you don't even know him. So I didn't like he was clinging to him. I didn't like that. I was just like, okay, this is kind of weird, Jeffrey, so please. So, well, did you tell him? He was like, no. She goes, why is he here? He was like, my mother will have the police sent here. He goes, and I don't know. I don't know why I came here. I guess. That's what he said. I'm like, okay, Jeffrey. And he goes, well, you're the one who told me to get to know him. She goes, yeah, his weaknesses. His flaws. And she goes, are you getting to know them? Do you know any of them? He goes, yeah, a few of them. She goes, well, are you using them? He's like, yeah, I think so. And I'm sorry, y'all, hold on a second. Okay. My cat, she ran downstairs and then she came back up, so I just locked the door because she liked to try and run around. Oh yeah, I got you, Clarabelle. She right over here. Anyway, what am I saying? Oh yeah. So then she goes, oh, he goes, I think so. She goes, Jeffrey, how much does this dude know about you? He goes, my full name. She goes, Jeffrey, that's too much. Okay, And so then he comes, when they're in the middle of talking, he goes, what do you want me to do? She's like, well, get him out of here. And then so he comes in and he's like, your mother's not dead. And he goes, oh, thank God. And Candace goes, really, Jeffrey? And he goes, come on, Candace, that's still my mother, okay? And so then he's like, where is she? And he goes, an ambulance. And so again, he's like, thank God, and this, that, and the third. And So Candace is like, really, Jeffrey? And he's like, don't. Okay, I still need to figure out why I got so angry. She goes, you just answered your own question. He's like, what are you talking about? She goes, it's your mother. Like, come on now. This is your mom. That's why. And he goes, she gonna be sending the police. She gonna be coming for me. That's what he said. And Justin goes, so what does that mean? And Candace goes, it means nothing. It means you can leave, And then so Jeffrey's like, no, I don't want him to leave. And she's like, Jeffrey, he goes, no, I don't want him to leave. With the whole Wyatt situation and everything, I want him here with me. I'm like, Jeffrey, what are you talking? So then she goes, Jeffrey, he's a police officer. He goes, no, he's my friend. He goes, let's not mistake me doing my job as friends, Mr. Harrington. Like, he don't call him Jeffrey all the time, and they ain't got real buddy, if you know what I'm trying to say. So he's like, I'm going home. And then he leaves. So then when he leaves out, Jeffrey's like, okay, so what do we do now? She's like, and then he goes, well, we need to get up out of here. And so she's like, Jeffrey, calm down. If she was going to send the police for you, she'd already done it. All right, the police would have already been sent. You feel me? So he goes, then what is she waiting on? She goes, why does the snake wait to strike? I said, come on, Jeffrey. I didn't know the answer either, but I had some ideas, but it wasn't what she said. And so she goes, timing, Jeffrey. Timing. No, she didn't say it like that. I would have been like, timing, Jeffrey. It's timing. Come on. Did you get one right? Okay, anyway, no. So she was just like, it's timing. He was like, yeah, but timing for what? She goes, that's the thing. I don't know. But I guess we about to find out pretty much. And he goes, this is too much. And then we cut to the next scene. So then we switch to the hospital. Hannah is coming in to see Wyatt at this point. And David is already in there. So when she comes in, he's like, Hannah. She's like, David. And he goes, oh, well, like, where's Catherine? She goes, she says she's not coming. She can't see him like this. She can't see him like this is her son. He goes, where is she? She goes, you need to talk to her about that. Because then he kind of started trying to get flipped with her. So then she was like, And so then I think he goes, so then he tries to ask her. He goes, how are you? And she goes, oh, how is your wife? And then he kind of just, because, he doesn't know what's going on yet. So she goes, you really should go check on her. And then so the doctor comes in. And, wait a minute. Sorry. Yeah, I'm still on this page. Yeah, the doctor comes in. This is Hannah. She's in the place of Catherine and all this. So he's talking. And so she goes, is he okay? And he goes, he's stable for now and everything. And she looks at him. She goes, my son looked like this when he was in a coma. Is he in one? And he goes, no, he was in a medically induced coma because of all the drugs, but, not now. And she goes, why is he so out of it then? And he goes, it's all the medication we put him on. And she goes, well, is he going to be okay? He goes, he's okay considering. She goes, considering what? He goes, the drugs, opiates, amphetamines, cocaine, marijuana. She goes, dang, like he was trying to kill himself. And the doctor goes, there are better ways to do that than love. And he said alcohol too, so he was drinking too. All right, so then she goes, is there any brain damage? He was like, no, there was never a loss of oxygen. Only there was just shallow breathing. But he's fine. He was like, this is all a time game. So in the next 48 hours, we should be able to tell what exactly is going on with him. And, yeah, I was just kind of, because we only saw the cocaine and, heroin opiates is a form of heroin. So, yeah, we've seen those two. But I'm like, dang, you was doing all that too? Come on now. Like, you was really like, okay, I got this 12 million. Let me go get me some drugs. Like, that was really the mindset that you were in. Yeah, so that's how that went. So then he goes, you let Catherine know what's going on. I'll let Jim know. She goes, oh, I will let Catherine know. Yeah, you let Jim know. I'm like, oh my gosh, Hannah. Like, I forgot for a second that they don't like each other. Because remember, I know you think I'm some ignorant ASS maid. Remember that scene, y'all? Remember that? I swear, Hannah be having her one-liners. I'd be like, okay, Miss Hannah. All right. So then, then we switch to Veronica. She's talking to the doctor. And so he's reading off the x-ray about, well, it looks like the implant. This is ridiculous. I already told you I don't have implants. And she snatches the the X-ray out of his hand, and he goes, "Man, what shows on that? Well, the X-ray is wrong. The X-ray is wrong. Could you just?" So he goes, "Okay, well, it looks like it's just a little stitching and only ruptured the implant. I told you I don't have implants. Can you hear?" He goes, "Okay, it ruptured the breast." And she goes, "Will it leave a scar?" I think at one point he goes, "Excuse me?" She goes, "A scar." She goes, "I have no scars on this body. Okay, so I will not leave here with a scar." She goes, "I have one child. I have no stretch marks, no nothing, and I will not leave here with a scar." So David is hearing all of this, and at one point she even goes, and I can picture, because we didn't see her face when she said it. Do you know what a malpractice lawsuit is? Can you see her saying it like that? A malpractice lawsuit? Do you know what that is? And then as he's opening the door, she goes, "Well, that's when." And so he goes, "Excuse me, sir, you can't be in here." And he goes, "I'm her husband." So then she goes, "David." And he's like, "So what happened?" And the doctor is like, no, she goes to the doctor. She goes, "Can you leave us?" He goes, "Man, we're in the middle of stitching here. Once the anesthesia wears off, you're going to be in a lot of pain." She goes, "Tell me something I don't know." She goes, "No, I said leave us. Get your asses out of here, please." That's exactly what she said. Wait. So he looking like he mad, just that's how he was looking mad, because like, "I'm the one with the white coat, ma'am." But he still left, but mad, but he left. So David comes in. She goes, "What happened?" She goes, "Jeffrey happened." "What are you talking about?" "He stabbed me." "Jeffrey stabbed you?" She goes, "I don't know, unless you have another son I don't know about." Even in her freaking most painful moment, even though it hit the implant, which the silicone was leaking. Oh, stuff. She's still hateful. So she goes, "Unless you have another son I don't know about." So he's like, "Jeffrey stabbed you? Like, really?" And he goes, "Huh?" And she goes, "What's this huh mean?" And he's like, "Bobby Safeman." She goes, "What does that have to do with anything?" He goes, "Bobby Safeman, you don't remember? Remember that little boy bullied and pushed Jeffrey when he was 6 years old all the way till he went to 11 years old? And Jeffrey never said a word." He goes, "Teachers told us, principals told us. Jeffrey never said anything. Even when I asked him, he said, 'No, I'm just fine.' Until one day, Bobby said one word too much. And they were in Little League practice. And Jeffrey took a baseball bat and beat that young man into a coma." I said, wait a minute. Are we dealing with a cycle on our hands? Did anybody else think that? I mean, I wasn't really mad when he said the baseball bat, because come on. Especially because I could be the same way. I never beat nobody in no coma, but I have a lot of patience. So, and with that patience comes, if somebody keep on with it, the more I come for you, it's going to be really bad, because I'm really about to come for you, because I didn't gave you every chance in the world to leave me alone. So now you just keep coming with it. You ever hit somebody too hard? I've done that. You didn't got on my nerve now. Okay, so yeah, so sometimes it's a blessing and a curse. Because I wish sometimes I would just go off on them so I'm not that angry. And I don't overdo it all at once. I could spread it out. So yeah. So are we dealing with... I don't think so. Jeffrey's alright though. So he goes, "I can't believe you don't remember. You defended against the lawsuit Bobby's parents filed." And she goes, "I'm his mother." He goes, "You just another Bobby Safeman. And you better be lucky he ain't have a baseball bat." I said, "Okay, Veronica, boot." Are they still saying that? Boot? So then David goes, "Now tell this doctor that you have implants so he can save your life." He goes, those toxins leaking into your bloodstream will kill you." He goes, "On second thought, don't." And I said, "Wait a minute, David." Because that was one of those, I was thinking it, I know, but you said it. Like, I was like, all right, David, come on back. Because I would be like, on second thought, don't tell him. Okay, but he said it, but he had a really serious face. I would have like a smirk and everything. And then he walks out and she looks like she's about to cry, but giving him death glare, like, at the same time. I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so then... Okay. Then we switch to Candace's house. Benny's pulling up to the house. So, I forgot to tell you, she calls Benny to tell him. She went inside for a minute to call somebody, and it was Benny. She didn't tell them, though. And she goes, "Look, did you get any information? Because remember last week he told her to go check Veronica?" told him to go check Hannah to see if she knows what happened to Veronica. So she goes, what happened? He goes, she didn't tell me anything. And she goes, okay, dang. He goes, but is everything all right? Like, what's going on? He goes, Jeffrey got a cop here. What? What did he tell him anything? Did he tell him what's going on? She goes, I don't know. I don't know what they said. I just got here and everything. He's like, Candace, get out of there. Just go. She's like, no. I have to figure out what's going on. Candace, get out of there. Go. No, I have to see what's going on. All right, but I'll call you back. So, okay. So now back to this. He comes over and she goes, what are you doing here? And he's like, what do you mean what I'm doing? You didn't call me back. Like, what the heck? And she goes, oh, no, everything's fine. What do you mean it's fine? Did he tell him? No, he didn't tell him. Okay, well, where is he? She goes, upstairs. He goes, is he cool? She goes, no. He goes, all right, well, I need to go talk to him. She goes, no. Talk to him about what? Candace, I need to talk to him. Why? Candace, I'm going to go talk to him. No, you're not. She goes, he doesn't even know that you helped me. What are you going to say to him? He goes, okay, well. And then she goes, no, you're going to spook him. That's not going to happen. Boom, 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 knock on the door. Who is it? It's Erica. So Erica comes in, and he sees Erica. He was like, oh, it's like this? Like trying to, oh, y'all really friends? So then she goes, blame your sister. And then, so she's telling him, she was like, I got something and we need to go now. She goes, now? She goes, right now. She goes, all right. So he's like, all right, you can get up out of here. Go ahead. She was like, you're not going to talk to him. She goes, let's go. He's like, all right then. All right. So she waits until he actually pulls off. Then Erica and her are on the sidewalk. And so she goes, what's going on? Did you lose him? She goes, not entirely. She goes, I had one of the valets slip a bat phone under his seat, but the battery's not going to last forever, so we got to go. So she goes, you're tracking him. She goes, of course, you know me. She goes, that's how I caught Carlos and Jenny. She goes, oh, now I do remember that. She's like, all right, girl, come on, let's go. Nice car, by the way. I said, okay, Erica. Candace got a nice car, too. So then, when they pull off, she was so sure Benny was gone. He wasn't gone. So Benny pulls up. Benny pulls up to the curb. And so he goes in, so he's knocking on the door. And so he's like, Jeffrey, come on, I know you're in there. Come on, open the door. And so Jeffrey comes to the door. He's like, who is he? He was like, come on, it's your friend Benny. So he's like, oh, God. And I forgot, my memory's gone. I even forgot that Jeffrey knew about the affair with Benny. That he saw it. So then he comes in. And so Jeffrey's got an attitude. He's like, come on, man. What you got an attitude with me for? I said I was sorry, but you're the one who tried to kiss me. So he's like, look, your sister's not here. And I honestly have nothing to say to you. So what's the problem, So he goes, yeah. So he goes, I have nothing to say to you. He goes, I know, well, I have something to say to you. And then so he's like, let me save you the hassle. He goes, my dad already knows about your affair with my mom. So he goes, oh, does he? He goes, and I see you do too, right? Because, he's feeling his attitude. So he's like, yeah, I do. So as I said, if you don't mind, like, there's the door. So then he tries to come for Jeffrey. So he's like, I don't know any father that's going to be okay with his son being gay. So if you don't tell your father to stop messing with my business, it's going to be a problem. So he goes, what? He was like, tell your father to get my phones back online and stop messing with our business, or I'm going to tell him that, your little secret is going to be out. So Jeffrey goes, let me get this right. You're saying that if I don't get him to turn the phones back on, you're threatening to tell my father that I'm gay? So he goes, yeah, we like, Benny, you one step behind the game, honey. Come on now. Really? And came in like he has some top secret intel. How they teased it, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, I did. I was like, is he trying to say he gonna try and give him up for Quincy? But then that would be saying that he knows which Jeffrey could flip it on him. He better. I was like, Jeffrey, you better say something, but no. So he goes, okay, I'll handle that. Just kind of going along with it. Okay, I'll do it. So he goes, all right, go ahead and call him. He goes, no, I'll call him tomorrow. He's like, no, you're going to call him now. Like, what are you talking about? So then the phone, so he goes, oh, it's him now. He goes, see how that works? Answer the phone. Like, trying to really act like he got the grip over him. So he goes, hey, Dad. And he goes, yeah, I just came from seeing your mom. He goes like, oh, my God, Dad. And then we got Benny in the background. Tell him. Go ahead. Tell him. And so he's like, son, like, what happened? He goes, I don't know that. She was just saying all these things and it just happened. He goes, like Bobby Safeman? He goes, yeah, Dad, like that. He's like, son, we need to talk about your rage. And so he's like, you need to stay away from your mother. He's like, Dad, I'm trying, but she keeps coming for me. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. She keep coming. So he's like, son, what does she have on you? Like, come on, you don't need to be afraid of her no more. He's like, son, you know I love you, right? Nothing you could say or do is going to change it. I'll do whatever I need to do to prove that I love you. You know that, right? And then Benny, again, tell him. He goes, actually, I have Benjamin Young standing in front of me right now. And he says that if you don't turn his phones on and stop messing with his business, he's going to tell you that I'm gay. And as he said that, you have Benny in the background like, what the heck? What? Like, what? So then he's like, is he threatening you? He goes, yeah. He goes, put him on the phone. Puts Benny on the phone. Be at the tow yard in 3 hours. Okay, I'm there. Benny leaves out. Put him back on the phone. Did he harm you, son? No. He goes, don't you worry about Benjamin Young. I got him. He goes, now tell me about your mother. He goes, Dad, I can't. He's like, come on, son, I can help you. He goes, not on this one, Dad. He goes, all right, son, I guess you'll have to tell me at your own time, but you know I love you, right? And so he's like, Dad, can I ask you a question? Did she kill Maggie Day? And he goes, son. He goes, Dad, did she? So he's not answering. So he goes, okay, I'll give you something easier. Wyatt, have you seen him? He goes, yeah, son. He goes, is it true? He goes, yeah. He's like, I'm on my way to give Jim the good news now. Jeffrey, good news? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, son. You don't know. I went to the hotel to ID his body, and he's still alive. Really? Really? He's still alive? He's like, yeah, son. I'm sorry. I didn't know you didn't know. So he goes, can I see him? He goes, yeah, son. I'll tell the doctor, you're a friend, and go see your friend. Go see your friend. He goes, all right, Dad. He goes, and Jeffrey, I love, just that kid thing. Okay, bye, Dad. Kids do that. Not me. Okay, sometimes. No, I do. You too. I'll be like, you too, Mom. All right. So they get off the phone. Let me see. Yep. I said, boot on you, Minnie. Boot on you. Which I was kind of happy at the same time. Because I wasn't really here for Benny trying to threaten him about Quincy. I was mad about it because you guys know they released the teasers on Facebook now. So it was like. Okay, so then we switched to Erica and Candace. Now, so they found Oscar. They found his car parked outside of the campaign headquarters. So she goes, not so close. And she goes, he doesn't know this car, Candace. And she goes, so is that his car? She goes, yeah. But she goes, wait a minute. So he doesn't know Jim? She goes, oh, is this Jim's headquarters? She goes, yeah, but Jim is in jail. So who is he meeting? And Erica goes, well, I guess we're about to find out. So then Mitch pops up on site. He goes, what you girls doing? She's like, Candace is like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm just in the neighborhood, whatever. She goes, no, you're not. What are you doing here? So she's like, who is this? She goes, oh, it's just a friend. She asked it a couple times, though. And so he's trying to change the subject and this, that. And he goes, you're not here for that David Harrington dude, right? She goes, what are you talking about? He goes, come on, you know. Know what? What are you talking about? Oh, he's been messing with our phones. Why would he do something like that? Benny was messing with his wife. She looked like she was about to vomit. She goes, Veronica, really? And he goes, yeah, so now he messing with our phone. So he's like, I thought I would come down here to see what's going on. And she goes, oh, well, okay, well, I don't know anything about that. He goes, oh, yo, did you hear about Warlock? She goes, what about him? He was like, yo, they popped him. She was like, what? He goes, yeah, they found a bunch of drugs in the trunk, about $2 million cash. He goes, somebody was looking out for you, kid. And she goes, Mitch, please tell me you didn't. And he's saying it like, girl, stop. I got you. And she's saying it like, he'll kill me. Like, he will kill me. Like, you didn't do this. So then, and he tried to be nosy at one point, like, what are y'all doing here? What are y'all doing here? They never told him. And so then they switch to the next scene, which was actually commercial, but then they go back. Oh, yeah, they're putting Warlock in the cell. Roughing him up and all this. And so he gets in there, so he doesn't notice that Jim's in there at first, on the next cell. So he's looking over there. He's looking at some other dude. Warlock, what you looking at? Just all this. So then he turns, and Jim is like asleep. So he goes, well, we meet again. And Jim is like, and he wakes up. And bam, next week on the Haves and the Have-Nots, you guys. So that was a nice little twist right there. Those two next to each other. And they tease next week, Jim is about to tell him again, dude. Yo, she lied again. 7.4 million, boo. Not 4 million. It's 7.4. And he was like, yo, she is dead. Like, I'm a killer. I'm afraid for Candace. like we said, Mitch meant well, but nah. By the way, I want to shout out Rell C, you guys. He was offered a spot with a film crew. Paid, y'all. He about to get paid. About to blow up. If you've seen Rell's work, you know he's a very talented cinematographer, editor, all that. So he's going to do great. So if you see Rell in the comments, be sure to shout him out. Again, I hope this review was better. I feel like it was based on order and covering more of the bases. If I left anything out, please let me know. I really appreciate you guys, the subscribers, anybody who's liked or disliked the video, lets me know what I have to critique, and I appreciate the likes. So yeah, okay. Thank you so much for watching. It's your girl, J to J. Anything. Peace.